So my camera turned around, I needed to, I couldn't start off in camera because I had to make sure that things started, because apparently sometimes things go a little wonky. So today I am going to chain ply some singles that I spun off camera. But this is the roving that we dyed live last week. And so since the last time I was spinning live, I just did a very, very short chain ply or n-ply. I wanted to do some more to show you how I do the technique. And it might not be perfect, but yeah, so we'll give it a go. I'll put the roving over there. Hi! Yeah, I got the fabric for the skirt at Joann Fabrics, and I love it too. It feels appropriate when I'm going live on the channel. Oh, and you know what I didn't bring over? I didn't bring over my little hook. So hopefully I will be able to get this started without it. Okay. I normally have a little hook that I use to get the leader through. So when I'm chain plying, really it's a way of making, it's kind of almost like a 3-ply yarn, but you're basically doing a really loose long crochet chain and then spinning that up. So how am I going to do this? All right, when I start, I like to not quite cheat, kind of cheat. And I basically tie the nut of the ends around to kind of start myself off with a loop. I spun the yarn going in the, spinning the wheel clockwise, so in the Z direction. So I'm going to ply in the opposite direction. Okay. And so, uh-oh. I got to pull through. So once, it always takes me a little while to get the rhythm of this down, but then once you get started, then it gets easier. But at the beginning, there we go. So I have a loop, and I just keep putting my hand through and pulling. And I'm realizing that this yarn is pretty thin, so it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing on camera. Maybe I should do this with a bulkier yarn next time. Or maybe like a really pale yarn, so that way you can really see better. I struggled between getting myself in frame and just getting my hands in frame. But I was afraid that I would end up pulling my hands out of frame while I was spinning, so I wanted to make sure you could see it. But so it's kind of like each time I go over, I guess, the bump of the previous loop, that's around when I will pull out a new loop for the ply. And I like to do this when I do gradient spins. So if I'm doing like a rainbow or and see, I wasn't paying attention to my bobbin. Okay, I'm doing this a little tight. In all my excitement. It's not cheating if it gets the job done. Yeah, no, I know it's not real. I mean, I guess the problem with being like mostly self-taught and having like, you see things on YouTube when you're learning it, sometimes I'm not necessarily sure if things are doing properly, and I hope, there we go. Yeah. But this, yeah, so this is the roving that I spun with you guys live. I forget which day it was, sometime last week, which was a whole lot of fun, by the way. Oh, okay. I am definitely having, I think I need to just, I need to fully replace my brake band, I think. There we go. Come on, yarn. Go onto the, yeah. Just some brief technical difficulties. Let's get this twist back up as I troubleshoot. La 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 la. All right, that's better. There we go. Yeah, I think it's time for me to just replace the brake band entirely versus tying knots in it when when it snaps. I have an extra one. It's just upstairs, so I tend to go for a more quickly workable solution. But yeah, you guys have been asking for more spinning videos, so I am happy to oblige. I'll probably do some more full ones at some point versus just plying, but this is a project that needed to get done because I am having to make, so we hit our 3rd stretch goal on the ChemKnits Tutorials Kickstarter campaign, and so that means that everybody receiving a shipped package is getting a mini skein of yarn, and depending on the level, people are either getting hand spun mini skeins or they're getting just hand dyed mini skeins. So I'm needing to spin up a lot of yarn so that way I can give you guys your rewards. And yeah, I've been blown away by all of your support, and I hope that if you haven't already checked out the Dye Pot Weekly Kickstarter campaign, I hope you will. I'm really excited to commit to bringing you guys weekly fun dyeing videos, and this series should be a lot of fun. And I get so many suggestions for videos from you guys that I'm excited to make this a reality and start regularly publishing videos. And even though we've hit our goal, additional funds will go towards more yarn and dyes so that way I can keep making fantastic videos beyond the first 25 episode run. So I'm really excited. But I love plying yarn. It is so relaxing. And when you're chain plying, especially like with a variegated single, you can get some like really kind of cool transitions of color. So it's fun. And sometimes if you have a lot of yardage, putting it in a center pull ball to, well, if you forget to divide the fiber in half at the beginning, so then you have it on 2 bobbins, you can put your singles into a center pull ball to make a 2-ply yarn. But sometimes that can start to get tangled towards the end, especially if you have a lot of yardage. So this is a nice way to make a nice and strong yarn, and it is pseudo 3-ply. I do have a Lazy Kate, and that is something that I want to play around with soon. A Lazy Kate is a device that you use to hold the bobbins. So then I would be able to, oh, I am not paying attention to my bobbin very much. Yeah, the Lazy Kate helps you hold on to the bobbins so that way you can ply. And yes. Yeah, sometimes I try to plan these live sessions out more in advance, and sometimes like today I go live when I get the chance between meetings and other obligations, so then I get happy when I can pop on and show you guys what I'm up to. But and maybe sometime we'll do like a choose your own adventure type series where instead of, you guys could pick the colors for the yarn and stuff that I dye. I did start officially filming the first two episodes of Dye Pot Weekly. So I think that, well, one of them has a shot to become one of my new favorite yarn, or my new favorite dyeing technique. So if you back the project, I will give you guys a sneak peek in the next update. But until then, I do have some other fun dyeing videos that are about to come out. On Friday, I'm going to share, I dyed some yarn with Hawaiian Punch, and so I'll share that on Friday. And then this week, I also dyed some yarn using Orange Fanta, and that will come out, I think, next Tuesday. I got used. Oh, your wheel's missing parts? Oh gosh, Catherine, I'm totally blanking on the name of the supplier where I buy things. Oh gosh, what's the name of the company? I will look it up at the end. I will look it up at the end of this session and send you a message because they have a lot of parts, and that's where I get extra bobbins and stuff like that. If you know the name of your wheel, ooh, hello wheel. If you know the name of the manufacturer, then you might be able to contact them directly and they can let you know a vendor. But yeah, I'll send you a message after this so that way, yeah, that way I can tell you where I find it. Because they have a lot, whatever the company is, they have a lot of Kromsky accessories. And so I'm using a Kromsky Fantasia today and having some issues. There we go. Yeah, I'm having a lot of issues with uptake today. So I'm maybe about halfway done. I know it's part because it starts to struggle more as the bobbin starts to fill up, but what? I don't know if I've said today that I consider myself a fairly novice spinner. I haven't taken any lessons besides at a Midwest knitting expo where someone sat me at this brand of wheel, actually, a Kromsky Fantasia, and let me try spinning for the first time. So usually when I run into problems, I turn to YouTube and someone helps me sort it out. Maybe someday I will get closer to perfecting the perfect lace weight singles. But for now, I enjoy spinning while watching movies. Yes, Woolery. Sharon, that's it. That is it. I'm pretty sure that that's where we get extra stuff from. I believe they also sell whole wheels. I'm not entirely sure where my wheel came from because I got it as a birthday present from my husband and his parents one year. And I think, well, I was actually filming, yeah, my brake band is not happy. I might also need to add oil Sandry up a bit. But there is a video on the channel. I had a dyeing project planned, and then the wheel showed up at my door, and it had a big spinning wheel picture on the package. So I just started squealing. And I think I put it together that night. So, oh, maybe that's why. Is that getting in the way? Yeah, I think it's going to be time for me to just replace the brake band entirely. But in a pinch, or when you're a little lazy like me, doing that knot helps. But someone on one of the last spinning sessions told me about the jumbo flyer and bobbins for this wheel. Where is... Yeah, so someone told me that Woolery had a jumbo flyer and bobbins, and if you're not spinners, the flyer is this part that flies around and around, and then the bobbins are what the yarn is going on to. But the nice thing about getting a jumbo one is that it would allow you to fit more yarn on one bobbin. Because it always makes me sad to have to stop and break the yarn and create a second skein when the yarn, when you just run out of space on the bobbin. And, oh, I'm sorry that you guys are here for when my brake band is so unhappy. I forgot that I meant to change it after the last time I plied yarn. And the singles went so well that I forgot that I needed to replace it. What does chain plying mean? Okay, so chain plying is this technique I'm doing today. So I only have one bobbin with the singles on it. And it's basically a really loose, long crochet chain. And that is what I'm using to make a, well, it's kind of like a 3-ply yarn, but we call it a chain ply, or some people will call it an n-ply for Navajo plying. And so you get, it's really nice if you're dealing with a gradient, and so you want to keep your gradient, but you want it to be multiple plies. Because I think it would be hard to spin two different singles on bobbins and have the gradient exactly line up. I think that you would really need to be a consistent spinner and able to do that. So whenever I do a yarn as a gradient and kind of divide up the fiber to spin it up that way, then I'll usually chain ply. I think one of the coolest yarns I ever made was I think I spun, oh okay, which way did I start? I did S singles, then I made Z 2-ply yarn, and then I made a 4-ply yarn by spinning the 2-ply yarn together. And so that looks really cool and mix up the colors in a fun way. No problem. Yeah, I try to show you guys when I'm messing up. So I think that what's happening is because I have some knots in my brake band, I think that it's just, sometimes the friction is varying, and so sometimes you need the friction of the brake band so that way you can the wheel will take the yarn from my hand and put it on the bobbin. But yeah, as it's filling up, my wheel is struggling today. But my bobbin is almost empty, so we're approaching the end. And so this is something that usually when I'm approaching the end, like when I'm filling up a bobbin, and this one isn't really that full, but you frequently, yeah, because it's just, normally you can hear it just sliding under the brake band. I think that's what the squealing is. So normally uptake gets a lot hard. See that, for it to stop like that is just not normal. All right, so as I was saying, normally uptake gets a lot harder as you fill up the bobbin. And what's going on right now with the wheel struggling so much is not normal. oops. So if I ever pause while I'm chain plying, what I try to do is if I'm still working on it, I try to put the loop around my wrist so I don't lose it. And if I'm going to step away, I just put it around one of these like carry hooks. Let's try going all the way down here. I know, and I got distracted, so neatly letting the fiber go onto the bobbin helps it pack better. So my drive band is a piece of like twine, the drive band is fine. It's the brake band that's the problem. The drive band, oh, I snapped one of those once. So I think I now have a spare one. That was really sad. I forget when that happened. Or maybe it was, yeah, I think it was, I snapped that because I think I bought two. Oh, we're at the last few yards. We can power through. You can do it, Sandry. And then I'll give you some maintenance tonight. Yeah, so I don't know what kinds of stuff you like to watch while you're crafting. I like to watch Survivor, and I like to, lately we've been on a bit of a Spider-Man kick. So we've gone through the Tobey Maguire ones, and then the two Amazing Spider-Man ones, which weren't very good. And then last night we watched Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh! Okay, so normally, and let's see if I can back up a little bit. Normally when I get to the end, I try to make my loop, oh well, I can't find it. I try to make my loop big enough. Oh, come on. I try to make my loop big enough so that way I can like be all even at the end, but yeah, this was a bit of a messy one, folks. Not, oh, my poor wheel. Oh yeah, you can, ooh. Yeah, I think that it's time to replace it. The end of my bobbin feels really warm to touch. But here is the yarn. Let's see, just check. Yeah, because there's a bit of a delay, so I'm trying to check to make sure that we're on camera. But it's really fun with the variegated yarn because sometimes it looks, it just changes the way, oops, the colors are. And so sometimes it looks like you have two pink and one blue, or vice versa applies. And so it's just kind of fun. And I don't think it's focusing very well. So if I get this little bit at the end, sometimes I'll just manually twist it back up. And then when I set the twist by putting the yarn on a niddy noddy, and then I will usually wet it with hot water or something. But yeah, so now you can tell that the brake band is probably the issue because now I'm spinning and we're not having that squeaky squeaker problem. But I think, yeah, I think I might have two knots on here. It's really worn out as well. So I think that it's just time to replace it. Yeah, nice hat or a scarf. Well, there's certainly not enough here for a scarf. I find that when I spin yarn, even if, you know, this is maybe maybe worsted weight, when I spin my yarn, I find that in 100 grams, which this is about 100 grams of fiber, I don't get the yardage that you see on commercial yarn. I don't know if it's because it ends up being spun tighter, so it's got less loft to it. But maybe the strands are just denser, and so I often, when I do 200 grams, that might be enough for an adult hat. With 100, a lot of times I can get like a nice hat for my kids, but I do a lot of searches by yardage on Ravelry for patterns. And so sometimes that helps me decide what to make out of my hand spun yarn. But yeah, so thank you for joining me with the plying. And again, this was the colorway that we started with, and I will probably spin this one differently. And maybe I'll make a 2-ply yarn so then we can compare it to this 3-ply yarn in a picture and just see the difference of what we get. I wouldn't turn it into a gradient because the colors, the contrasting blue is so spread out in here that I don't think that would be as interesting of a yarn. But I really like, I've done some fiber of the month clubs, and it's so fun to see all the different yarns that people spin starting with the exact same colors of fiber. Oh, you're meaning the color and the texture, if there was enough yardage? Yes. Yeah, oh, I love the way that colors mix together with spinning. And so that's oh, you can't see me. One of the reasons why I wanted to start spinning is because once I started dyeing my own yarn, I like to try to start pushing it to see different ways that I could dye fiber and experimenting with it. And I wanted to be able to take it a step further and exploring dyeing in color by dyeing my own fiber and then seeing how I could get the colors to mix together on yarn. And so, yeah, I have so many ideas, and I am excited to, have more spinning videos as a supplement to the Dye Pot Weekly episodes. And yeah, I really appreciate all of your support. Many of you have backed the Dye Pot Weekly Kickstarter campaign and have given me so much feedback and suggestions for videos that I think, before the Kickstarter campaign, I had a list of about 50 videos. A week later, we're a week into the campaign, and I have, I think, 90 ideas, and a lot of those are from suggestions from all of you. So please continue to send me ideas of what you'd like to see. I like to try to make that possible. And if there, ooh, yes, you should get a wheel soon. It's a lot of fun and very relaxing, because normally she behaves herself a little better than she did today. But yeah, I'll go replace this break band. But thank you so much for joining me live. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.